Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Hello. Thank you, Steve, for joining me today. So today we are going to be doing a little bit of game testing on the new Mac port of Control. So been looking forward to this for quite some time. I think it's been delayed a few times, and it was released as always. It's come out in Asia first, but it's come to the UK now. Well, it came online about 11 p.m. I think. I'm a bit frustrated with the way that international releases are managed by the Mac App Store. There should be just one time in the world where it just gets released, but it's kind of a good thing because I've read online that the 1.0 release of the Mac port of Control is based on some older build, and this has now been updated even before it came online in the UK. So some people have tested this out already on the 1.0 release, which was pushed onto the Mac App Store 4 months ago, and now we have this release, which is 12 hours ago of 1.3 1.0. So yeah, we're going to be testing out the Mac version of Control finally after all of these years. So anyway, let me know in the chat whether the audio is working okay. Just want to make sure that that's a-okay. So just say something in chat, and yeah, we're gonna start this process off. So of course, Control, the Remedy game. AAA title released in 2019 and has been working on various forms on Apple Silicon Macs for quite a while. So basically, we were able to run this on Parallels because it's a DirectX 11 game. We're able to, not very well, and then crossover using DXVK. This is one of the big success stories of this platform, and now that D3D Metal came out, it works even better through D3D Metal, and I think it also works through DXMT as well. It's basically a DirectX 11 game. So yeah, we're really excited about this particular port. It is nearly 6 years old now, so it would have been nicer if a more recent Remedy game, was released on macOS instead. Something like the recent Alan Wake 2, but that's been published by Epic, so it's only on the Epic Game Store, so that's less likely. So Control is a nice, is a nice thing to get working on a Mac. Yeah. So today we're going to be doing some testing on the various Macs that I have. So I've owned a Mac Studio, which is what I'm looking at right now, for 2 weeks now. So I'm still in my return window. So today I'm going to be testing it on this. We'll be testing on the M4 MacBook Air, the M1 MacBook Air, and also my M3 Macs as well, maybe, or probably not that necessary to do the M3 Macs, to be honest. And we'll be doing some testing. I'll be testing 4K out on the M3 Ultra to see how it runs. Hopefully, I mean, from all indications, this looks like a better port than Assassin's Creed Shadows. And yeah, speaking of Assassin's Creed Shadows as well, we have a patch as well, which we might test out. So there's a new patch that released as well, 1.0.3. So we'll just make sure that we'll just give it a run and to see if this works okay. We'll see if this has any kind of performance improvements, because a lot of people were quite disappointed with this not working very well. And what else have we got? I want to test out Atomfall as well. So there's a new Steam game, Atomfall, for Windows, and apparently it works pretty well through Crossover 25. So it would be nice to test this out. So yeah, basically we're going to test this out. So I played like the beginning of Control like a lot of times now, but yeah, let's do it. I haven't really run this properly yet, so let's give this a proper go. So we'll get this running in 4K. Game mode is turned on. So I think why is that not so sharp? Maybe what I need to do is run this properly in 4K, not because what I'm doing now is I'm running in high DPI, which is okay, but let's run it in 4K proper. Okay, 4K. Oh, okay, I can't get it running in 4K because, okay, sorry guys, I'm just gonna adjust some stuff. Yeah, a complete rebuild is needed for macOS. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed with that because you have to. I made some footage of it. It's a bit annoying because there's no Delta update for the thing. So if you want to do an update, you have to like download the whole game again. So I made a video of that this morning just to check, because like I wanted to upgrade Assassin's Creed Shadows to the latest patch 1.0.3, and then you got to download the entire game again, 115 gigabytes, just for like a 9 GB patch. Very annoying. Okay, so sorry, I'm just going to do something a bit stupid and technical, which is basically I need to switch over to HDMI so I can get proper 60 FPS 4K going. Just give that a minute. Sorry, some minor technical stuff needs to be sorted out so that we can get proper 4K resolution support going in here. So can I do it in 4K? What's the difference between high DPI and yeah? Let's see if I can do this again, because basically I want to get this running at 4K, like proper 4K. So let's just do this again, because it shouldn't be blurry. What's it verify? No, I don't want to verify that. I want the local version, which is on my. Ugh. Okay, minor technical issues. And make sure I'm running the correct version of the game that I've got, which I've installed onto my Thunderbolt 5 thing. Okay, nice and sharp, pin sharp, 4K resolution there. Okay, mirroring using HDMI, a little bit more reliable. Okay, planning on buying an M3 Max Ultra Max DD. I already sold my kidneys when I buy iPhone 16 Max. I wonder if the house will be enough. I don't know. Depends how much your house is worth. The Max DD is not really a good investment, I'd say. Okay, let's look at options. I haven't really looked at options properly. Yeah, so the main thing is that we have a display resolution and then we have a render resolution. So if we select this, I think this is the equivalent of performance mode, right? Because that's like one quarter resolution. Let's try native. Okay, let's see what native is like. Native. Metal FX, VSync off. Let's see what the frame rate is like. Quality, let's go to high. Okay, let's see what the M3 Ultra is capable of. And of course, we're going to test out lower end machines. Of course, yeah. So high DPI is what is Apple Retina display. Thank you, Ghost K Web, for joining the stream. High DPI. Yeah, it's also about the scaling as well, because right now we're on 1080p high DPI. So I think what that means is that we're actually running at 4K, but it's scaling all the stuff, the user interface stuff, larger. Let's just see. That save. Okay, 4K. No metal FX. What if I turn metal FX off? Okay, that should be, that's more correct. High preset. Let's get my controls up and running as well. Invert. I'm an inverted player, so I'll try the controller out as well. Yeah, controller's working okay. Got my DualSense controller working here. Yeah, just scaling effect. This. Put some subs on. Let's start. So let me know if the audio levels are okay. I'm not listening. Let's just listen to headphones.
Fair warning. This is gonna be weirder.
Here come the people asking for. Yeah, I will do them. The only reason I'm doing the M3 the Mac Studio first is just because I've got it plugged in. So that's why I'm
So
doing
here
it
I
first.
am.
That's the only real reason, is because it's already plugged in.
I know I shut you out sometimes. I'm always glad to hear from you. It's just that I get
Why
my
am I moving
hopes
around
up
like this? I am on a treadmill
so many
because
times
when I do
until I
3-hour
do
live streams,
nothing.
I like to like get a bit of
I
exercise in.
found nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the M4 Air. Probably do this next after I test out 4K on the
It's
M3 Ultra,
like
which is how it runs. Yeah,
we live in a room,
better to play
and there's a
with Game
poster on the
GeForce
wall.
Now. I disagree. I think it's probably better to run it
We
locally because
stare
it's
at
not
it
going to be
and
that
we
demanding a
think
game.
that's the
We could actually
whole
play this on the
world.
M1 MacBook Air. If you have enough
The
RAM, then
room
it actually runs fine. If you have
and the
16 gigabytes of
poster.
RAM on an M1, it'll probably be fine to cross over.
The pictures
But now that
seem
it's
really
native,
nice.
hopefully it's going to be even
A
better.
landscape, a famous person.
How do these returns look
Like
like in
in the
practice?
movie.
If you want to do Apple
What is it
returns,
called? The prison movie.
it's very country dependent.
The room's
In the UK
set
and in
on the
Europe, there's
picture.
very
It's
strong
different
laws
for
to do
each
with
of
like
us.
distance
It can
selling.
be
So if you
beautiful
buy anything on the internet or even reserve it online and pick it up,
We're all
you are allowed to
transfixed.
return things pretty much for any reason as long as it's
But
in
it's
its
all a lie.
perfect condition.
Something to
So
distract us from the truth.
ask your local Apple
They're
store what their policy
lying
is
to
and whether
us.
it falls in line
We're
with your
lying
local
to
laws or not.
ourselves. The room's not the world. The
Okay, so it's not
world
this is
is
pre-rendered
much
cutscene. Okay, so I'm
bigger,
not really fussed about it. So
much
let's skip ahead
stranger.
and get to the beginning of the game.
There's
Okay,
a
so running at
whole
4K high
hidden
native
behind that
resolution,
poster that
which is
leads
always
to
going
the
to be
real
quite tricky.
world.
Okay, it's never going to run that well.
We all feel
So
safe in that room.
let's see how this goes.
But sometimes something crawls out from
So I think it's worth
behind the
upgrading from the
poster.
M4 Air from the M3 Air. I think it's worth upgrading if
And the
you're
ones that see it
getting
happen
16
freak
gigabytes or
out.
more. If you've only got 8
Try to
gigabyte
forget
M3
what they
Air,
saw.
then the M4 Air with 16 gigabytes, which is the minimum for M4 Air, is like really worth
I'm
it.
here. Why did you bring me here?
Okay, running this at 4K is a little bit ambitious. Okay,
Anyone
little
here?
tiny bit ambitious. Let's yeah, let's look at our ray tracing options too. Where is the ray tracing option? Yeah, well, ray tracing's on high. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so this is never gonna work. Native's never gonna work. Okay, Metal FX upscaling from. Let's just get some good frame rate first before we start messing around too much. So this is like 1080p upscaled to 40K, 4K, with ray tracing turned on. Let's turn up our mouse speed a bit. Okay, so it's never going to run 4K, so that was a tiny bit ambitious, I think. Is this demanding? I thought it was always easy to run because it was free on most platforms, one way or another. Not sure what you're talking about, Dustfly guy. Crazy stuff, great port, really. Okay, good. So this is 1080p Metal FX upscaled to 4K with ray tracing set to high. So what is ray tracing? What does it do? We've got this on high. There's another preset here for ultra, and then there's this ray tracing preset. So we've got ray trace reflections, transparent reflections, indirect diffuse lighting, contact shadows, ray tracing debris, and ray tracing samples count. So what does that mean? What does 8 mean? I don't really understand these terms, but that tanks frame rate quite a lot. Can't really tell. Can't really tell a difference. Let's put this back to high again. There's an ultra preset too. I put on ultra, that defaults to 3. So that's the samples that we need. High. Is the background the road full of artifacts, or is there a YT stuff? I don't see artifacts here. Yeah, RT samples are the amount of ray bounces. So I guess the number of times the light is bounced from the thing. So if we the higher it goes, I guess the more exponentially difficult it becomes to run. Like I honestly I just can't really see a difference. I don't really understand ray tracing that much because like the difference between high and off. Personally, I'd rather have 40 extra frames rather than have ray tracing on. Yeah, so I'm just having a look right now. Should I test it with ray tracing on or off? Because it just seems kind of I just find ray tracing like a really pointless thing to implement. Because the M3 Ultra does have ray tracing cores. We have ray tracing hardware. Let me just put this high again. Ray tracing was a gimmick to sell new consoles. Yeah, I can see the water is different. I guess. Yeah, lock 60 is good enough. This is ray tracing turned on. If the game had ray traced global illumination, it would be really noticeable. Yeah, I guess it's too old for that. I guess this came out 1 year before Cyberpunk, 1 and a bit years before Cyberpunk 2077. Because if I turn ray tracing off, right, then I can probably get let me see if I can run this 4K native. Still not 4K native. There's no frame gen in this game. It's kind of predated frame gen quite a lot. Yeah, so we can't run at 4K native, but can we run 1440p? So 1440p scaled up to 2160. This game, even on lower setting, looks really good. Yeah, I mean, it's really you're not going to be able to see many changes here because you are looking at it at a slightly smaller screen, or probably on your phone through YouTube compression. So, yeah, DLSS is needed. We don't have DLSS, of course. We have got metal effects, so there'll be some kind of ghosting. Quick question: is this running with the day one patch that just released? Yes, we are running the day one patch version. So this is 1.3 1.0, the one that's been been updated today. So if we run this at 1080p, so 1080p upscale, and this is really good still as well. This is the Ultra with 60 GPU cores, not 80. So it's the bin version, so the less powerful one. If you have issues with audio on crossover, try to change your MIDI audio settings and change the hertz of your output audio device. Yeah. Okay, I'm just deciding because I only really want to do one playthrough of this on the Mac. So what I'll do is I'll do a 1440p upscale. So what's the equivalent of 1440p? FSR performance, resolution, scaling, modes. So what's the equivalent of this? Yeah, this is it. This very handy guide I always refer to. So the output resolution, if it's 4K and we're running at 1080p, it's performance mode. But if we run it at 1440p, it's quality mode. So this is so I guess we're going to be running it at the equivalent of quality mode with ray tracing turned off. I mean, to be honest, right, you could probably just run this through crossover. If you've got the Epic version, just run it through crossover 25 and it'll probably be similar level of performance. So getting like 70, okay, we're gonna run it at 1440p upscale to 4K, ray tracing turned off. And then we'll just see how this goes, okay? We'll just do this intro section. I just really just can't see. We'll run this at quality mode, right? Like you can see, this is ray tracing turned off. Let's just see what the reflection looks like with ray tracing turned on. I just want to get some footage because I don't. I mean, it's more reflective. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does look that does look noticeably different, I guess. The lights bouncing off the floor, but I'm only running at 48. I'd rather have this off. I mean, there's less. It's more diffused. It's almost like an artistic choice, really. I mean, do I really care whether that light is bounced off the floor accurately or not, so to speak, compared to like losing 30 frames per second? Yeah, upscale. Does this have HDR support? I think it does. Yeah, it does have HDR support. I haven't got it turned on because I don't have it. I'm not attached to an HDR screen. It looks really good though. Okay, so I'm gonna do like the playthrough of the first like 20 minutes, I think. This port is only on the App Store. So if you own the Windows version on Epic Game Store, then I think that it's probably fine to run it on that.
Federal Bureau of Control. All these years I've been looking for them, and they were hiding in plain sight.
So VSync is turned off, so you're going to see a bit of
Hello?
screen
Hey,
tearing.
excuse me.
This guy always freaks me out.
There you are. You are here about the job.
My frame rate is all about low latency, which frame generation negates. Yeah,
You need to go
frame
to
generation is only good at like high frame rates. So if
that way.
you're already running at 60 and you want it to display
Thanks.
120,
Elevator
then
that way.
frame generation is appropriate then. But
Very good.
other than
I'm
that, not really.
Janitor, by the way. You'll work for me. You can say I sent you. If they don't hire you, they you are no helvet. There be work for the axe. Take them behind the sauna, jumalauta.
I've done enough night shift loner jobs to know it makes us come off weird. Ahti the janitor is a friendly face in my book.
Yeah, but I played through this intro so many times because it's been a really good poster child for like
I was 11
getting,
years old
you know,
the
Windows
first time I
games
saw
working on a
Brian
Mac through
post that.
crossover.
They told me I imagined it.
Why do you think?
I've been
Why is
trying to
Metal
pull
FX
it down
terrible,
ever
Rishi?
since.
Why do you think that? I don't think it's that bad.
Will you help?
Okay, so when it's saying 240, that's all this is all pre-rendered video, so kind of irrelevant. Skip. Skip. I like these double thoughts coming up. I think I'll use that.
Did I lose you there for a moment? You know what's on my mind. My baby brother, Dylan. 17 years since the men of this bureau took him.
I was playing Death Stranding, couldn't complete the game. Well,
Shit.
well, you don't need to use Metal FX in Death Stranding. You can just run it natively at a native resolution. Looks fine.
You want
On
me to
most
pick
Apple
up
Silicon
the
Macs.
murder weapon? Really? Something's outside. Was coming here a mistake?
It's got our glyphs as well, so it's got the DualSense glyphs here, which is nice. Death Stranding REM's games, yeah.
Where am I?
Death Stranding looks great, I think, in general. Yeah, so we now have the game in all of its ported glory, I guess.
The same gun.
I was looking on my M2 MacBook Air on low settings. If you've got 16 gigabytes of RAM, you're going to have a much better time, I think, in general.
Okay.
Play Fortnite private server on the Mac. I don't think that's possible. Not with current macOS limitations. Why did you opt to buy an M3 Ultra? I just bought one, and I think choosing that over M4 Max is probably the hardest decision of my life. M4 Max is probably enough for most people. It's a good chip. This is an App Store exclusive. I'm not really sure who the market is who's actually going to buy this game on the App Store, considering that, it is true that a lot of people have got this game for free on the Epic Game Store. And if you've got it for free already, then I'm using mouse. Fucking mouse is easier. Yeah, and it's an unfortunate state that all of these games are not coming out on, they're not being ported onto the original, the platform correctly. So I didn't really opt in to buy the M3 Ultra. I just bought one for testing purposes. It is the end of my 2-week purchase return period, so this is getting returned today.
I understood every word.
And the UK is quite generous. Like with Apple here, I just initiate the return, so I have to log out of the iCloud account on my computer.
Happy to be here.
Once I log out, then I can initiate the return, and then I've got like a few days to actually ship it to UPS, and then it goes back to Apple. Is there a difference between the parts of the chip that are rendering ray tracing on M3 and M4? So M3 and M4 generation both have like ray tracing hardware included inside it. Do you think I should upgrade my iPad M3 from M1 or M2 to MacBook Air? I think that, yeah, if you have a device that can run macOS, that's like fundamentally different from an iPad. An iPad's a consumption device, it's not really a creation device. It can't really do work on an iPad, in my experience. Yeah, so certainly the order of things is like, the iPad is like the last Apple device I would buy. Everything else is like way more valuable. Who's shooting me? Are we serious? Yeah, so Epic is apparently pretty bad about updating their Mac versions of games. Probably, yeah. It's also the developers as well. If they didn't even realize that there's a problem. That they just forget about the Mac versions of their games released on various platforms. So it's not surprising with the. Can you get a full refund? Yeah, in the UK you can get a full refund.
Says the dead man. Okay.
So, it's a no-brainer for me because I can buy a Mac to get content, to make content out of relevant content, and then I can return it. And it's not like it hasn't worked out, because like there's been several times when I bought a Mac and I thought, when I bought my first MacBook Pro M1 Max chip, I really thought, I'm not going to keep this, but I ended up keeping it in the end because it's such a good video editing machine. I was so impressed with it. So it's not like it doesn't work. Why's my aim so bad? Because I'm on a treadmill, that's why. It's slightly harder to game on a treadmill. That's my excuse. They should really have supported Alan Wake 2. That's what they really needed to have done. Looks like a much better port than Assassin's Creed Shadows. I mean, they have different technical ambitions. Like, this is not an open world game, right? This is not open world. It's quite linear. It is also 5 years old. So we're not, it's not the same kind of, it's not the same level of, it's not the same level of ambition, right? So it's completely different kind of, thought. Look at a project called Flux Fortnite. Okay, I'll have a look at Flux Fortnite. Can you play it online? An old version of Fortnite. Okay. Proceed further into the bureau. Okay, where do I go? Just knock everything over.
The hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier. The hiss. Burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy. That babble's contagious. It burrows in like an infuriating melody that makes you hum it over and over.
This game's freaky. God. I've forgotten how freaky this game is because I never really tested it that much. Do you think you can get a decent frame rates at 1080p with M3 Pro? Probably. Oof. Game distribution on Mac is horrible. Some games are available on Mac App Store, some games on Steam. Why Apple is preventing devs to publish Mac games on Steam, at least allow it. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I really think that at a minimum, they should allow... Because Steam keys, right, for developers are completely free.
Tried to invade me earlier.
Can I turn this onto easier mode? Because I don't really want to play hard. Is it just one difficulty? Be fine.
The hiss.
Yeah, let's get past this bit.
Everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's
So just get killed by the really impressive part of the game is the destructible environments. Yeah. And M1 Pro can already play this game to crossover, so I think like being able to upscale this is probably it's just extra performance, I guess. I guess I could try to run this on crossover. Yeah, I'm just gonna pause my treadmill so I can actually focus properly, and maybe even I'll look at my actual screen rather than the OBS preview and just try to beat this bit. I'm gonna keep dying from this. There's aim assist. Yeah. Oh, okay. Good idea. Good idea. How am I dying so much? I don't remember dying this much in when I played this through translation layers. This is not a good test. Aim assist. Okay. Oh, the ranger is quite hard to kill. Thanks for the tip, Dusty Fly Guy.
The hiss burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy.
Okay, standing still. Not a good idea. Get good, yeah, exactly. Professional YouTuber is shit at games. That's me. Terrible at this. Okay. I always wondered if strange that I play with graphics, see how it works, and then
Sound that tried to invade me
yeah, I find
earlier.
that really interesting too. But my aim is really just to get it working to a acceptable level.
Everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? All right, it's out.
And then something gets summoned in the middle. This baddie, this boss. Oh shit, I'm really getting hit hammered here. I've got no health already. How does that even happen? I killed everything else, right? That guy has got some powerful abilities. Like a grenade or something. Oh,
The hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier.
the rest
The
of this stuff.
hiss burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? All right,
Yeah, let's
it's
do this.
our enemy.
Can I try in 1080p and 1440p? Okay, I will, yeah, after I finish this bit.
That makes you hum it over and
Almost dead now. Okay, kill them.
Must cleanse control points. An enemy. Corrupt. Spreading.
cleanse the control point. What does that mean?
Okay, wet 2008. We're going to run this in 1080p in a minute. And then at some point, we're going to switch this over to the M4 Mac Mini. Can I take...
Holy shit. We did it. We did it.
You can take all the things on the Mac and throw it to them. Pistol is in the main weapon here. This is available on Steam. Main question is the App Store exclusive?
With the Bureau. Are you still sane?
Yeah, Wuthering Waves comes out tomorrow, so trying to live stream that. But I'm getting new internet tomorrow, so getting gigabit, 1.6 gigabit internet. So I'll try to live stream that as well. Get some Wuthering Waves going.
Deal with the compromised agents.
Okay, so at the moment we are upscaling from 1440p to 4K. So let's just do a little comparison of this. So here, let's say we're in between our heads between these two objects, right? So if I and right now we're getting a frame rate of 69, 70 FPS. Okay. So if I push this instead of running it at 1440p, if I run it at 1440p display resolution, what is that? And then I run this at native. I reckon I should get slightly higher than 70, 77, 78. So we're not upscaling. We're running natively at 1440p, 78 FPS. Still looks really good. But obviously, I think I'd prefer to have it at 4K at the upscale. Okay. And then here we can also try running it at 1080p proper. So native 1080p. And 120 FPS. MSAA is on. Turn it off. Let's have a look. MSAA. What does MSAA do? So right now we're 1080p native. MSA. So this is part of the default settings for quality high preset. Turn MSA off. Yeah, substantial frame rate increase. Not enough to make a difference, really. I mean, it's about 20 frames per second more, so 138. Let's just turn that on again. Because on the high preset, MSA is at 4 times. So that's like about 20 frames per second difference at the high end. So 1080p is the viable option with headroom. Yeah, 1080p is fine. 120 FPS. I think for me, what I would do is just, I would still always run this at 4K on this machine anyway. 4K is the appropriate resolution, and then I would upscale up. So we would get, so this is if I just 96. So it's not as much as it's quite a big difference actually, like from 120 down to 96. But I still think it looks better to Metal FX upscale. So all of the interface elements are nice, pin sharp and beautiful. Whereas if you run it natively at 1080p, it's going to look worse. So this only really applies when we're at the highest levels of frame rate, really. You know, we're using these on high-end machines. I wonder if I can save the game here. So let's go back to what I was testing on before, which was the equivalent of Metal FX quality, which is 1440p upscale to 4K. And then we'll see how this goes. Check native 4K and MSAA off. Okay, let's try that. Let's try and do this similar deal again. Similar location. Yeah, let's try MSAA. Let's try 4K again. So 4K native. And then MSAA off. Yeah, it's still not that good. I don't really care about 1080p performance. Anything better is just a bonus. I mean, I agree, basically. And this is virtually, you know, 4K is 4K then. Let's get to the next bit of the game. Let's go to the next bit, and then we'll test out a different thing.
I can't tell you how happy I am to talk to somebody sane.
The feeling's mutual.
Let's go back to 1080. Let's go back to quality mode. High.
Yeah, I'm Pope, Emily Pope, Dr. Darling's assistant.
My turn. Should I lie? Jesse Faden. I'm just visiting. I should have lied.
It might be just be Ultra Fusion not scaling well. I don't think that's the issue here, but we'll test out on that. We'll test out on the M3 Max, and in theory we should get better performance than the M3 Max because the Ultra Fusion of the M3 Ultra is 2 M3 Maxes together.
Director Faden.
Call me Jesse.
Okay, Jesse. I'm Emily. Look, somehow this hostile force, this
Hiss?
that works. Somehow the hiss managed to infiltrate the building without any warning.
And just like that, my name for it is official. The hiss. Like the sound of poison gas leaking in.
We're in full lockdown. It seems to have spread everywhere and to everyone not protected by an HRA. And, extraordinarily, you. You are the director, and that makes you special by definition. Trench is no longer the director, obviously. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. This whole situation is just a lot.
Trench is dead. Shot.
By the way, I run control on the Switch. Oh, I didn't know
found his
there were
body.
controls on the Switch. There are control on the Switch?
gun.
Is there a
Did
port
my
for that?
teller look like a suicide?
The service weapon.
Also, and this can sound crazy, but he keeps appearing to me, saying things. It's hard to make out, but he told me
Are you
to
hopeful for
acquire
the
the control
Cyberpunk port?
point.
Yes, I am. I
Push
am
the
hopeful.
hiss out.
Okay, so next thing we're gonna
Hold the move
do
shifter.
is
You did
after
that?
this cutscene,
And you entered the building
M4
when it was
MacBook Air.
already in the lockdown
That's the
before you became the new director?
key, the lowest end of this generation.
I'm not ready to tell her about you yet. A janitor let me in.
I love it. This is fucking unbelievable. I can't even. Look, Jesse, I have a million questions, and you probably have a million more.
Yeah. DG World Gen. I'm
I
gamer,
have a
but I
deal
love
with my
macOS, but
brother
Mac's
Dylan.
not value for money. I agree.
Not yet.
Completely agree.
But there's
Yeah, I'll be
something
testing on the
I
M1
ask
Air
you
as
to do
well.
first.
I'll do M4 Mac.
If
I'll do
you can
M4 MacBook Air
cleanse the
first. I think it's
control
more
then you
relevant
can
at the
maybe
moment.
cure those infected or possessed by the hiss. Because if that's possible,
I've never
our
actually played this
options
far.
are very different.
Emily Pope. I don't know her, but I like her
Get my
already.
M4 MacBook Air ready.
She's the opposite of the faceless agency I've blamed for what happened to me for so long. But I can't
We'll
trust her
do a
yet.
swap over.
Or rather, the bureau she's a part of. Yes. I can try.
What should I do?
I'm speaking for you, of course.
If you have a Windows gaming laptop,
We
then
can try
that's
it
gonna
together.
serve the majority of people watching this content. This is way better than
Okay.
a Mac
You
will.
with me? We did it before. Push the hiss out.
Or the cleanse the agent. Okay, we'll do that in a minute. Okay. So hopefully we've got a save game. Okay, so let's check save game situation, okay? So we're going to swap computers now. And so I want to make sure I've got a save game. So generally speaking, if we have macOS game from the App Store, you want to go press go and then hold the option key to go to library. Then instead of application support where it normally is, I think it's normally in containers. So expand this, double click. And then Control Ultimate Edition is the one that's been opened last. We have our data, and then it's normally kept in library under application support. That's what's renderer.ini? Okay, not there. Where's the save game? We've got saved application state, but that doesn't tell us where's the save game. I wonder if this is going to have. I wonder if this is going to have cloud saving, because that would be good. Yeah, it's got our save. Where is it? Where is the save? So normally it's here, application support. But this is an Unreal Engine thing. Oh, NIPS NLPS storage, default Apple user. Ah, here we are. Save game. So it's under com.rent. So I think this contains some settings. Oh, great. I just opened up parallels. Whoops. I think this is it. Default Apple user. Okay. I'll put this on my storage. Control save game. Put this under here. Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna quit out of this and load up the beautiful M4 MacBook Air. So this is going to require a little bit of rejigging while I get this done, but we'll be ready very soon. Okay, I'll give a nice little camera feed. Ooh, that's me. B camera. Okay, so this is a feed of what's on. Let's make you look pretty. So the fastest way to find a power an external keyboard is just by plugging in the Magic Mouse cable. So I've got this like really ugly looking old keyboard, and then once you plug it in once, it just pairs up automatically. You can type in the password straight away. You don't have to like mess with all of the Bluetooth stuff that I hate doing. Okay, so let's hopefully got my remember with my mouse. Scopes. Okay, let's go back to my main streaming look. Okay, good. So we've got this. I don't remember my magic mouse. Oh, here we are. Okay, good. Mouse is connected up. Sound is correct. Okay, MacBook Air, here we go. Okay, let's see what we've got here in chat. Oh, so people are discussing different equivalent laptops. I mean, pretty much anything that's over like $500 or $600 with a dedicated graphics card, like a 3060 plus, is going to perform like generally better for almost all games on or versus a Mac. So if you care about game performance, that's probably what you want to do, rather than having to deal with the translation layers and buying games from the Mac App Store, which is I'm going to say depressing. Yeah. Okay, good. So let's get started. Yeah, we'll test out a bunch of resolutions here. Let's see if it's no, it hasn't copied over our game save. Let's just make sure that we are. Let me just log in with my account properly. because I logged out in order to initiate the return. Just do that first. In a sec. Okay, just logging in. At least the Apple. I mean, to be honest, I prefer the the Microsoft Store because at least at least you can get games working on a. At least you can do stuff like get a Game Pass and get all the games included, which is like why Apple don't do that is just crazy. Okay, can you imagine the value proposition in Apple Arcade if let's say Apple Arcade included Resident Evil and all of the Power World and No Man's Sky and all this stuff. If it could do that, it would be incredible. Okay, let's put my screen back on. Okay, let's just see if this syncs up. Why ain't it syncing up? Unnecessarily frustrating. Yeah, why didn't we have our save games? Okay, good thing I copied over my save games. Okay, so let's get my save games going here. So I did copy over my save games. Default Apple user. Okay, so we go to Library, Containers, Control Ultimate Edition, Data, Library, Application Support, UE, and LPS storage. And then we're going to replace this. So replace. And open up Control. Microsoft Store is loaded with so much more garbage. Well, I've talked about this before, but the Xbox app was far better than what we have on the. So the Microsoft side, you have one account. You have the Microsoft Store, which contains, if you want to download Office, that's where you get it from. If you loads of the software is on the Microsoft Store, but you can also use the Xbox app, which is kind of a layer on top of the Microsoft Store, and it's a bit better because you can do things like, queue your items we want to download and set limits on bandwidth and stuff like that. Okay, let's look at some settings that we're going to have a look at here. So why am I walking? I'm on a treadmill, that's why. Okay. The scroll versus is not working. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's even copied over my mouse assist stuff. Okay. Okay, we're running this at 1080p, so let's see if we are capable of running this properly. So let's go. If we go to high, does it automatically 10 ray? No, it's not. Ray tracing is a separate option to high. So ray tracing off in this situation. Let's run it at 1080p native and see what we're getting here. For some reason, game was 2.5 USD in Turkish App Store. Ooh. Microsoft Store doesn't take any cut on purchases. Really? Okay, so that's 1080. Okay, that's no good. That's a low. Okay, low 1080p. Okay, render resolution. Okay, so render resolution at 720p. It can even go even lower than that, 540p. By the way, why are you drinking Coke? I'm not drinking Coke. I'm drinking Coke Zero. Zero sugar. So this is 540p upscale, Metal FX upscale. I mean, is 720p at low? Is that a good... It's a beautiful game at low. I want to hit that 60 FPS. So I think in order to get that, especially with our... Well, our temperatures are quite low. Not throttling. Yeah, we'll test in the fight. I just want to get the right options. I don't want to be chopping and changing this. If I run into this at 540p, I think that's the equivalent of performance mode, right? So if I look at... What was that thing? This thing was a very handy guide. So if I'm outputting it, if I'm outputting at 1080p, but it's going at 540p, it's basically performance mode. So I'm basically running this at the equivalent of performance mode at the low graphics preset at 1080p. Let's see how this goes. Because that's still a pretty game, you know, still looks pretty good. I'm just checking my B camera because I want this to look good on there. Okay, so I've got to cleanse this this guy. You know, I never even noticed that they changed this from 0 to 0 sugar. I can't believe that Coke got away with like 2 different brands of diet soda of the same, you know, sub-brand.
The hiss has burrowed too deep. Ripping it out rips them apart.
What to Emily Pope?
I can't cleanse them. I saw. It was worth a shot. Thank you, Director. Jesse.
I'm gonna tell her why I'm here. I'll risk it.
Listen. The Bureau was involved in an incident in my hometown, Ordinary, 17 years ago. The Bureau came in and covered the whole thing up. I've been looking for this place for a long time.
That's enough. Maybe that's too much already.
Looking for what place?
I can't tell her about Dylan and the rest yet.
I've seen.
So how does this relate to
World event case dealing with Ordinary.
I think I like Coke Zero a lot
You were at
compared to Diet
Ground
Coke.
Zero as a child?
Play
It was one of the big ones,
control with a
before my
PS5
time.
controller.
And very classified.
Okay, let's do that.
I can
I can play with a controller. And let's play with a controller.
try to dig out some old files for you. My boss, Casper Darling, would know, but he's missing. I think he knew this was coming, or suspected. He came up with the HRAs that
Do adaptive triggers. It's very game dependent, but a lot of games work with adaptive triggers.
A few of us.
And also, a lot of the Sony games work well with adaptive triggers on the Mac.
Trench.
Even running through crossover.
The ghost, or whatever
I
he
got
is.
I got my DualSense paired up
He
now.
mentioned something called the hotline. Said I should find it.
It's another object of power, like the gun, an old Bakelite telephone, a direct line of communication between the director and the board.
So how does this game relate to Alan Wake and those games? It's a similar deal, right? And also what the other game called Quantum Break or something.
Where is the hotline?
It's kept in the communications department through the mailroom. It's part of this sector, so we can access it even with the lockdown in place. We'll get the door open for you.
Okay, that's my next stop.
That's Tomasi's department. He's the head of communications. I don't think he had an HRA. He kind of made a point about not wearing one earlier. Keep an eye out.
They call me the director. But that's not me.
This is very mysterious. Like, it starts right in the middle of the story. Maybe I missed some cutscene or something, but I don't really understand what's happening in this.
Here? I think you already know.
macOS definitely does support adaptive triggers over Bluetooth. I've experienced it many times in various games.
I was looking for answers, but I might never understand them.
Coke even had a hard time getting rid of tab because it's different. What's tab? Maybe that's not something we get in the UK.
No matter what they told me all those years, I know it's real now. I didn't imagine this. I want to be a part of this world. What scares me shitless is that I finally found it. Only to see the hiss destroy it all.
Can this run on M1 Pro? I do think it probably can run on M1 Pro. Windows doesn't support adaptive triggers. Okay. This whole architecture is like mid-century. It looks really cool.
Look, I know this is all new to you, so don't hesitate to ask me anything you want to know.
Tab was a one-color Diet
hotline
Coke.
should be in the
This Trench guy. I keep hearing him in my head. Is he a
Yeah, the
ghost?
haptics and the adaptive triggers all
Haunting
work.
me?
It depends on whether the game supports it or not. But I haven't experienced it yet because I've been using keyboard and mouse, but we'll try this. With Death Stranding, it definitely works.
Maybe it's his final thoughts recorded by the bullet in his brain, like a deep space probe sending back data. But that's just a hypothesis on my part. I need the gun to research it. But you better hold on to that given the circumstances.
I think I will. Yeah.
How long is this game anyway, as well? Like, how long will it take to
Thanks,
finish it?
Emily. I'm sure
Enter the communications department. Okay. But we also could do it. I could also... Where am I? We're in Central Executive. So I need to get to the boardroom. So I need to do a little bit of... What's this?
there it is again. Our welcome message.
Main story takes 12 hours. Okay, I'll play a little bit and then we'll test this on the M1 MacBook Air. Frame rates are pretty good. Like, I don't need to be running this at performance mode. I'll probably run this at 720p. Let's try this. Seven 720p upscale is pretty good. 720p upscale is equivalent of quality. I'm a much worse shot on the controller. Not that I was any good to begin with. Ow. Got hissed. This game is Control, the Remedy game from 2019. Been ported over to macOS. Running natively. Yeah, let's try this again.
There it is again. Our welcome message.
I don't feel like there's, with a gun, I don't feel like there's any, I feel haptics. Not sure about adaptive triggers, though. I haven't, because normally adaptive triggers, you feel resistance. I can feel the haptic. Like whenever I shoot a gun, I can feel the light kind of resistance of vibration. Right. We'll test on the M1 Air very soon, once I've gotten a bit further. Is it running better than crossover? It's a good question. This is horrific, this game. Like, it's like some kind of, yeah. This game's freaky. God. This guy's got a shotgun. Yeah, this is definitely a step in the right direction. But it is an older game, you know. If we were like looking at a laptop from 2020, like the M1 MacBook Air or something, that would be the real test. Also, definitely utilize telekinesis. How do you use telekinesis? What powers are there? Navigate through the communications department. Oh, okay, so I can fast travel between these two areas now. What's the communication? So I can go through here, but
Communications. We're on the right track.
R1. So there's nothing on R1 at the moment. So I must have not unlocked any of these powers yet. So yellow means I can travel through the door. Get some lore.
Just look at it. 8 inches wide and capable of storing a whopping 80 kilobytes. Stolen by our friends at the CIA, the disk held the launch codes to Soviet nukes. This is not the disk, of course, but one exactly like it. A perfect fusion of concepts vibrating in the Cold War era collective unconscious. A receptacle. It is a receptacle for dangerous energies to hone in on. And they did. We don't have the details, but when things started flying around the disk, it was transferred to us. It's an object of power. OOP. Oops. Oh, and it can launch things telekinetically through the air. To date, we've launched maybe 3 dozen pencils. And once, we even launched a cup.
Federal Bureau of Control. I thought this was the FBI. This okay. So we're gonna make our way to the Department of Communication. Can't we get through this? It's been sealed up. All these doors have been sealed. Tunnel. Just get whacked by a thing.
An object of power. Looks like the hiss have latched onto it. We need to cleanse it.
How do we cleanse it? Oof. I don't think I'm gonna cleanse it very well with like 0 health now. I'd run across this thing and not get smushed. The disc. The floppy disk can be found. Oh, telekinesis. Oh, so this is the power.
When I'm here, it's like the channel's been changed. The boards in charge here, they're pyramids in Bureau Seal. Are they really the ones pulling the strings? I'm not their director. I'm no one's director.
Oh. Ah, I can fling objects now. I can fling anything. I unlocked it. Cool. Launch align the cube. I've literally played this dozens of times on the Mac, and I've never got this far yet. It's a lot more compelling now that you know that it's like performing well on so just change the equation a little bit. Okay, that's substantially easier as a game. This pyramid thing, what is this? His antagonist is seeking our astral plane.
There you are. You were gone.
So we've got...
Cut off. I got it. Just like you wanted, right? This will help me fight the hiss.
It's serious, they're throwing rockets at me now. Oh, rocket to the face. Rocket to the face. Come on, guys. To be like Magneto, like capture the rocket right in that, right as it's flying towards you. So I've just done this bit, didn't I? Well, still pretty ill. Okay. There isn't like an easy way to get health back, right? I died, but I also still retained the power of the telekinesis. And these enemies spawned in the middle. So where do I have to go now? I have to get to the comms department. It's kind of this way.
Emily said that the hotline can be reached through the mail room.
Still feeling quite ill. Coughing a lot still. What are these shelters about? Because, like, if I close the shelter door, does that put me through, like, a checkpoint or something? Low health boost. Weapon mod. Does that mean I've got a weapon mod now? I can... Oh, I've got low health. Accuracy, reload speed. Maybe reload better. And then what else have I got? Assets. Missions. Collectibles. Okay, so if I get to the... That doesn't sound good. I don't know what that is. Freaky. This game is really creepy. I mean, yeah, this is... It is a good point that this game is way too old for anyone to be really genuinely excited about. 6-year-old, and it's it's 6 years old and it's been cheaper in other places. But this guy's wearing the same thing that the other lady was wearing. Can I get to the can I get to where I need to go through here? We're all waiting for performance on the M1 Air. FVC is similar to FPI, yeah. Yeah, let's try the... Let's try, let's go back to, Central Executive, okay? Let's do a little crossover test, okay? Because let's say, you know, it's a scenario, right? Let's say you just bought your brand new MacBook Air and the M4 chip, right? And, you know, we're able to hit this, just can confirm, we're running at like quality settings, 720p on the low preset, right? Ray tracing's off. You're able to hit this like 60 something frames per second. Okay, so what we'll do is quit out of this, and then I'm going to make a copy of this. Now I'll put this in my games folders, and then let's just compare this to what we had before. Okay, so I'm going to do the quick comparison with crossover 25. So I'll run this through my crossover bottle. Okay, so I've got the game on GOG. So we're Windows games. So control. Okay, so does control work better through? Let's try the DX12 control first, DirectX 12 version. So I'm just going to do a quick comparison on the same hardware for MacBook Air, and then see like We'll run a low preset 1080p 720p upscale, no ray tracing. And we'll see how this goes. Of course, D3D Metal 2.1. So you can buy this from GOG, you can buy this from the Epic Game Store. You probably already own it on the Metal. I'll test this on DirectX 12 and on DirectX 11 as well. I think I need to copy my save games over, so I need to have this logged in, and then we'll get our central executive save game loaded up. What are you doing? Okay, something's gone wrong here. Let's do this. Let's do this again. I need to load up my save game for this to be a good comparison, because that intro bit with the ability to see the road is not very indicative of the game as a whole. See, once okay, yeah, I was trying to do that. And then what should happen is that DXMT. Yeah, okay, I'll try DXMT. So we should be able to log in first, and then that should create the save game data. So our data should be into here. Let's see if the save games are compatible, okay? So I've got my saves, which I saved on my NAS. They look compatible to me. Can I just copy them over? Why not? Let's give it a go. Okay, let's see if this recognizes our saves. It should do. Yeah, it's got our game. Good. So we should be in exactly the same place. We're on the Windows version of the game, of course. Okay, let's change our settings. Okay, so similar kind of deal. 720p render resolution, but it's not low. Ray tracing's off. Controls, gameplay. Is that right? Is the Windows port getting higher frame rates than the native port? Is that even possible? Does that make any sense? It's a bit more jittery though. And are these Render resolution. So with DLSS is not enabled. It's just the DirectX 12 version. And then this is on the low preset. So we're not 100% sure if we're not using any kind of like upscaling tech to make this better, because there's no support for DLSS. So it's just a straight up scale up. So it's not jittery actually. It's frame timing looks pretty good. I wonder if I run this natively at 1080p, what the difference will be. It takes longer to get into the menu, of course. Let's go straight to native, okay? Because this is not what I was running on the native port. I think I'll run this at 720p. Render resolution 720p, that's like equivalent of quality and low. Is the translation there giving better performance than the native port? Well, here I'm getting 82 frames per second. What we should do, right, is remove any kind of potential issue to do with scaling, okay? We're looking at DirectX 12 as well, so let's push this down. Let's do 720p native, and we'll test both out, okay? So this is like 720p, no upscaling, because we don't have the equivalent upscaling tech. Let's just go exactly to where we were, and then not make any movements. We can do like a one-to-one comparison, 720p low settings. Well, we're not even sure that low settings is so if I go back to Central Executive, which is the main, this looks like it's the main hub, we'll just see what it looks like when we 720p low DirectX 12. This exact view. Give that 10 seconds, okay? Can I play Sonic Frontiers on a MacBook Air M4? I don't know which Sonic game that is, sorry. Okay, 90 FPS. 90 FPS. It's definitely running a slightly warmer. FPS, 85 FPS. Yeah, so DirectX 12. Let's just do a comparison with just do a quick sanity check here, because I don't really understand what's happening. Let's do the Mac version, okay? Let's do this again. So instead of looking at 1080p upscale, we'll just look at... Okay, so instead of doing any kind of upscale, we'll just do a native 720p. And then we'll go to preset, which is low. Ray tracing is off. So DirectX 12 was getting about 80 to 85 FPS. Why is this getting lower FPS? I wonder if anyone else can confirm this, because it seems a bit suspicious. Like, this doesn't make much sense, because this is a translation layer, so it's using a lot much less memory. Which doesn't make any sense. Unless the frame rates aren't being reported correctly, but they do feel, it does feel fine. So let's just try the DirectX 11 version as well, just a kind of comparison. So we'll try the same settings as well. Start game. We're pretty sure we did restart, didn't we? I changed the settings in the main menu before. Stream audio is clipping. Do you mean the microphone or the game audio? I can turn that down, you see, the game. Test. Something's gone wrong with my Stream Deck. It gives us error message. Does not like that thing. What happens when you I think it's that pop-up, that dialog box doesn't like that. DirectX 11 theoretically should support, it can be better, it can be worse. We can also try it through DXMT as well, through DirectX 11. Doesn't like that. Let me just get into this. I think it's because it's going into full screen mode. But it won't let me go in the main menu until we do this dialog box. Okay, so just confirm here. So 720p. Let's go full screen mode. So let's go 720p, no upscale. Okay, so native 720p, low preset. DirectX 11 is getting even higher frame rate. Okay. Why? Is something wrong with my... Is there anything wrong with my testing methodology? Just play a bit. Why is it that controls running better on crossover than it is natively? We are running like double the amount of RAM, so like 6 gigabytes versus about 3. I mean, it's a remarkably playable game on the Mac using the Windows version through crossover, so it works remarkably well, 80 frames per second. Yeah, this is on an M4 MacBook Air. I don't really understand why performance is better. So that, okay, let's do some game. Let's do a bit of gameplay. So on the native version again, okay. Just to do a comparison, I'll just do that part again. Doesn't make any sense. Can anyone else confirm this? Like, you can just buy the doesn't make any sense. Intel this is the 1.31 version. Even if they did throw in a translation layer and then run the game, it doesn't make any sense because they would run the same or maybe I should confirm this on a different device as well. So this is the native Mac port, 720p native full screen, low preset ray tracing off. I'm just low preset on native has anti-aliasing set to 4 times. Didn't it have that before? When you change this off, it doesn't change the preset, I guess. Oh, okay, that's... If I turn anti-aliasing off, that's MSAA, did we get similar frame rates? It's still lower. It's still lower than... We get better battery life with native, that's for sure. Is there any setting that's capping the memory? I need to compare these exact settings. So we have low, and then changing MSAA doesn't change the preset. So if I run it through DirectX 11, which performs better, is MSAA on or off? This is we're still getting lower frame rates. It's like 80, 81, 82 frames in central command, right? We're still only, yeah, so this is 3.87 gigabytes running at like 83 frames per second. Let's just load up my DirectX 11 version again. We're using D3D Metal. I mean, I think it would run even better through, I think it would run even better through DXMT. It's not saving my resolution settings. This is like 1080p still. It doesn't like that when I try to run the game. I think the workaround I found is running the game and then Command Tab in and then come. So it's trying to do this in full screen, right? Then I'll Command Tab out, and I'll click in again. And then when that dialog box comes up, when I press OK, it doesn't do that funny come in and out thing. I press OK here, then it won't come in and out. I need to confirm this on another computer. So we'll do full screen, 720p rendering, no upscale. Render at 720p. Low preset, MSA is turned off. Okay, so we were getting like 80, 83 FPS. So these are the same settings now. So let's go back to central command, central executive. (107 FPS). That's a full like 25, 30 FPS faster on DirectX 11 mode. Am I doing something wrong here? Am I going crazy? That doesn't make any sense. 720p. Preset, the MSA is off. Let's do some gameplay again, okay? So I'll do the same deal that I did before. Go to dead letters, go towards communication thing. So we're back here. I'll go back to here. Fight some baddies. Well, there's no baddies to fight here. Texture resolution and filtering on native is set to medium or not to low. Okay, so the presets are different, are they? Texture resolution and filtering on native is set to medium or not to low, but texture resolution is medium here on the low setting. But even if I put this on medium, texture filtering, we're still getting way higher frame rates still. Maybe MSync is the issue. But if it is the issue, that means that MSync is giving superior performance. So I've got this in full screen mode. I mean, is that a difference? Let's just try this again. So this has got game mode on 720p. Just take the texture filtering settings again. Yeah, these are on medium. But the actual presets are slightly different. Because the texture filtering was on low for the medium, for that preset. Let's just study this for a second. You know what? Let's just open both at the same time. I can just compare them. So I've got both games open at the same time, so this is not, it's obviously not a good indication of performance. Oh, that is annoying. Apple uses dynamic memory allocation, and my guess is that the port is bad. It's not bad until it's hard to tell with these games, like, if we can test equivalent settings, because the settings might not be equivalent. Let's run this in windowed mode and then just side-by-side live comparison between these two things. It's not SSAO, it's like MSAA, I think. And I had them both turned off. Why is it doing that? The focus thing, it's a dialogue focus window thing, which is messing things up. I was just trying to, I thought I had it reliably sorted. This must be about it. I really doubt that anyone would release a port that performs worse in this day and age. That intentionally performs worse. Because this has gone through a lot of a different, you know, people worked on this. People have been paid money to work on this. This doesn't make any sense. Need to wait for this dialog window to open up. It's some new thing when they changed when they added support for when they upgraded everything to the ultimate edition. And okay, let's do a one-to-one comparison here. Okay, so let's go to low. And we'll go here to the low. So there is a difference here with the quality preset. So the texture filtering on the native version is set to medium, whereas this is set to low. So okay, so there is a difference in the preset. So they're not one-to-one comparable. So there's they've made a change here for better or worse. I don't know why. Okay. So that's different. SSAO is turned on. Medium off, that's the same. MSAA, so that doesn't change the preset, but obviously will affect the performance quite a lot. So the big difference is that the texture resolution is set to, with a low preset, to make it equivalent to the Windows low, then the texture filtering needs to be set to low as well. And then, you know, the MSAA, that's a different question, I guess. MSAA needs to be off Film grain is on. Where's film grain? Film grain is on. Oh yeah, film grain. Yeah, that's right, film grain. Let's turn off film grain and motion blur. Okay, let's turn both of these off. Then we'll get a proper... ray tracing's off. Okay. So the main thing is MSAA is off, film grain motion blur is off, texture filtering is set to low, and texture filtering is set to low. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll just do a quick comparison. So I'll compare the Windows version first, because this one's a pain in the ass to open up. Just do this test again, okay? Yeah, the devs could have made some changes. You're right. I think you're completely right. It just like, yeah, you can't get it completely right. But these are, you know, you're completely right. They're not necessarily equivalent, but you'd expect them to be close, right? Because there's an Unreal Engine 5 game on a desktop computer. So texture filtering is to low, film grain off. Okay, let's just do this again. I mean, even if the settings are different, it's almost kind of irrelevant, you know? Let's go back to Central Executive for a minute. Does AC Shadows Windows? I haven't tried it yet. Okay, so 720p low, film grain motion blur off, MSA off, texture filtering set to low. MSA is off, film grain motion blur off, quality preset low, texture filtering is low, just like on the Mac version. Anti-cheat. There's no anti-cheat on a single player game like this. Okay, let's just do that. Let's just do some gameplay in the dead letters area on the way to the comms department. Just want to see general performance.
Emily said that the hotline can be reached through the mail room.
Loading times seem faster, but like everything seems faster. Even like loading up a menu seems faster, like pressing escape or something. You know, that loading the menu takes seconds on Windows, right? Yeah, we're getting to like 50 FPS here. So this is the different areas have different kind of... Yeah, so there's like 50 FPS here. This area. Okay, let's just test this against... Let's just test this against native version. Because it went down to like 50. It's like, it's enough to make you think like, it's close enough, right? That you might not ever want to actually play the if you own the Windows version, it's not that different. It's not different enough. Okay, so none of these things are saving my graphic settings. Okay, native version, 720p, low preset, with texture filtering set to low as well. And then MSA will turn off. Then film grain and motion blur off. Continue game. I have a good friend from uni was Naruto designer control. Did she work on other stuff like Alan Wake? Okay, so this is 85 FPS. Let's go to I think I'll have to try this test out on another computer as well, just to confirm, because it just seems suspiciously bad. Like, give it a few seconds to normalize. So stuff like pressing the escape buttons in menu takes a few seconds on thing. So we go to communications department. I think in general the performance is better. Just
Emily said that the hotline can be reached through the mail room.
try and run through the same bits. It's kind of hard to tell without doing exactly the same things. Performance on the native version here is better. I can tell already, because like when I was running here earlier, it was dipping down to 50 on the Windows version through equivalent settings. But it just kind of shows that it is very close. Okay, so when I came here earlier, I'm going to die when I walk through here, but it was dipping down to like 50. I wanted like, these effects are quite heavy. Yeah, it's better on native in this area, so it's not... It's hard to benchmark. I wish we had a benchmarking tool to compare with. It's interesting that the frame rate's better, and obviously much better at... Yeah. The native this native version is better, but it's not much better. Like, is it the real question is, right? I think the real question here is like, is it worth $39? Because the Epic Games Store Control Ultimate, right? If we look at the price history of this, right? You know, you can buy this on, like right now you can buy Control for Steam for $524 right now. And historically, you know, it's been free on the Epic Games Store as well. At Christmas, it was free 4 or 5 times, yeah. So it's not... It's probably better just to run it through crossover. Yeah, the effects are more aggressive later. I can definitely see that. It's not competitive is what I mean. It's like, you know, you have this game that's been free many times already. Did it come out in August 2020? I thought it came out in 2019. Or maybe that was the Ultimate Edition. It's so cheap on... I mean, if you have a powerful Mac, I think what the real benefit of this is that it's running better on. Yeah, DXMT is probably even faster. Let's run it through DXMT quickly, okay? Let's just see if we can get similar frame rates. If I can run the DirectX 11 version through DXMT. Did I try the other translations? Yeah, I tried DirectX 11 and then I could try. I'll try DX. I think DXMT works. Yeah, I did some recording of Power World running on Mac. Okay, I've got to do this weird thing where I've got to Command Tab out and in, which is definitely annoying, but not the end of the world. So what you do is you get in the game, Command Tab, and then Command Tab in again. So we focus on this bit. Yeah, the 1% lows, Jonathan, the guitarist, you are completely correct. But the 1% lows, I mean, we're not tracking 1% lows properly though, but it does seem to dip a lot more on the on Windows translation. But I'll just compare it quickly with, can I run control through DXMT? So this is the older version of DXMT. So DXMT is has been updated several times since the Crossover 25 release. So this is not really indicative of the full performance of this game. So just try this. Looks terrible. Low with texture filtering on low, MSA off, film grain off. I've not played Limbo of the Lost. What is that? Is that a good game? This is lower performance than D3D D3D Metal. Looks more blurry for some reason. Is this properly displaying at 720p? Guess it must be. Low. Yeah, these faces not rendering correctly. I think this might be fixed on newer versions of DXMT. Yeah, these graphics are not rendering correctly. Yeah, this crossover is right. It's just not rendering correctly because like DXMT is still in very early stages. Okay, that's interesting experiment. I'll have to analyze that properly. I'll put the footage. What I'll do is I'll put the footage side by side, and then we'll try and do a comparison. Yeah, I think the ultimate test, right, is going to be comparing this on the M1 with 8 GB of RAM, because that's like when we're in RAM limited situations. Yeah, I'll be testing Wuthering Waves out tomorrow. I'm just gonna what I'm gonna do is do the M1. We'll do the M1. We'll do the test there because that is more interesting because the Windows version is going to use more RAM, right? And we only have 8 GB in this like M1 MacBook Air. pretty this thing up. Stuff. Okay, let's the M1 MacBook Air is where it's really going to matter because 8 GB is just pathetic, right? And you'll need all the RAM you can get. Prices. Let's see if this is any good. So, with my B camera. Okay. Okay, let's test this bad boy out. Okay, we're going to use the same settings as before just to do a quick comparison. The GG version of Control is like pretty good. The M1 Macs are really good. It's just that they made a big mistake with limiting this game to only having these Macs to only have 8 GB of RAM. It really like affects your total market like quite a lot. So no metal effects, native resolution, film grain motion blur off, low, texture filtering low, MSA off. Okay, quit because I want to get the save games that I had before. So grab my save game, which is here. Control. Okay, then I go to library, and I go to containers, and I go to control, data, library, application support, com, storage, and then we'll replace this. Actually, no, we don't want to replace the whole thing because I'll just put this here. I just want the save games. I don't want everything else. Okay, good. And we'll run the Ultimate Edition. Okay, 720p. So we've got those graphics settings going. Okay, let's go to central executive. See how this is going. Oh. 720p native resolution, so no upscaling. Just give that a minute. I'm just going to use the toilet and get up another Coke. I need another drink. Okay, 720p. Drink water like a normal person. Coke will mess up your health. Nope. I like drinking sodas with no calories. 4 gigabytes of RAM. That's the key here. Okay, let's go and look. Change our control settings. Let's try. Why is the RAM queue getting limited? The RAM's not being limited. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, keep my fitness level up. Let's keep moving. Keep my steps up. Oh, Steam version is confirmed on Remedy's Twitter. What the hell? Really? Oh, Remedy. Why does it say it's going to be coming out on... Oh, a Steam release on Mac will follow in the future. It's not a very popular game. People are not really playing it, so... It's interesting that they're saying that they're gonna... That's today. Interesting. Okay, so they are going to release this on Steam, so I guess you could do it now. You could buy on the Mac App Store now, or let's just increase our controls. Okay, well, this works. This is surprisingly good. Okay, let's just do a little bit of gameplay. Just want to do some comparisons with the Steam version again, the Windows version again. So I'll just run through the same stuff at the same resolution on the same settings, and then I'll switch over to low settings with upscaling to 1080p. I know it's a bit boring, but I'm doing the same thing. Come in here, and then I'll do this. Just trying to do the same thing I did before.
Emily said that the hotline can be reached through the mail. I test out HDR is working properly.
I can't test HDR while I'm on stream, so I might test it later. Okay, so that's pretty good. 720p low. Okay, do I have crossover 25 installed here? Which version of crossover am I using? Yeah, 25. Good. Okay, that means I can do my stuff. Okay, I can do the same thing as I did before, which is to go into my computer and then load up the Windows version. Okay, so that should have created my save game folder, which is in my games, control, saves, and oh, I have save games from a long time ago. Now let's get my one from here, which is I have to keep organized with all these save games for testing. Okay, so let's run this again. And then we'll do the same thing again. We'll run those same settings. And my theory is that it's going to perform much worse now because we are running this through D3D Metal, and that just uses more RAM. I mean, officially, Game Porting Toolkit 2 requires 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's what Apple say. I mean, obviously, you can run it with much less, right? But you know, yeah, it's doing this annoying thing. So to get around that, we are gonna we run the game. When it goes to black screen, we press Command Tab to lose focus, and then Command Tab again to take focus. And then we click on the OK on the dialog box that comes in. So wait for this dialog box to open. Press OK. Okay, no, I did that wrong, but somehow. Again. So I'll come out, and then I'll click in. Maybe I'll Command Tab out and then click into the screen. We'll wait for that dialog box to come open. Sometimes this is what you gotta do for Windows gaming on a Mac. You have to deal with bullshit like this. Press OK. Okay, now it doesn't come out. So you Command Tab out. When the black screen comes up, you Command Tab, and then left click in, and then the window will be focused correctly, which is good. Okay, so then we're gonna try to load up equivalent settings. Obviously, it's not completely possible. I'm gonna full screen, run this at 720p, no super sampling. Film grain off. Quality set to low. Texture filtering is low. MSAA is off. So that's equivalent again. Continue. We're still not using that much RAM yet. Let's just see what we get in game. Can we try Black Myth Wukong? Well, it's quite a feat for. So this bit in Central, maybe we're benchmarking in the wrong place, but this bit in Central Command is running at a higher frame rate. Although it's kind of hard to know what to trust exactly, because it keeps doubling up. What does that mean? Because those numbers are not correct. Can't really trust these D3D metal numbers because we're not doing anything fancy. It's just the standard stuff. There's no ray tracing. There's no frame generation. The metal HUD is lying to us. Because it can't be going at 1,000 frames per second. It's not going at 120. It just can't be going at that speed. It's like recording something that's going through some kind of metal frame buffer or something. That's not the right. I don't really know how to actually report this. Oh, great. So apparently the Control Ultimate... Oh, where did this guy come from? What the fuck? Yeah, apparently the Mac App Store version of Control is cheaper now. So it should be $20, not $35. I paid $35 for this. Okay, let's just do a test. We're going to fast travel to Central Executive. No, we're going to fast travel to Dead Letters. Can't trust this frame rate counter. This is more like... way more stuttery. The performance is much worse. Let's just go back into the combat area again. You can see like the biggest benefit. Thank you, Mohan, for joining the stream. Thank you very much. Yeah, you can see that the major benefit for this is like on the M1 MacBook Air, we're getting like much better performance, because like the memory usage is hitting really close to that 8 GB limit. Look at that 7 8 GB. After a few minutes, we'll start to tank a bit. Not even loading correctly. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, that frame rate's really tanked now. Once we're going to swap, this is the real benefit, is that this is real slideshow type of scenario that we have here. And then we're getting close to hard crash. Five frames per second. Okay. Okay, good. I think that's enough. I think I proved my point. I proved my point that this is the native port. Okay, let's just checking something. It's good that we're basically able to run this. Why are there no baddies spawning here? It's a much more compelling option here to run this at lower settings. On lower end machines. I think that's where the real benefit is. If you're RAM limited in some way. If you have an M1, 2, or 3 with 8 gigabytes of RAM.
Said that the hotline can be reached through the mailroom.
Same FPS without stuttering, yeah. And just fewer graphical bigger dips. And go here, there's this effect that happens when you walk on that stuff. Much more smooth. What's the key control for the spells? Q for shield. E for launch. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is like run this at what I would actually run this on a MacBook Air. Just check something here. So what I would really run this on is 1080p, and I'll probably set the upscale from 540p, and then I'll set this to low, the real low preset. And I'll probably turn the MSAA off. I'll turn the quality preset low. So this is the real low preset with 540p upscale. This is what I really want to add. Metal Effects upscale is pretty good, and allowing this game to run on a Mac, that's the real beauty of this. Just change something. Let me just do a little bit at 60 hertz locked VSync, because I think
Emily said that the hotline can be reached through the mail.
because having a nice equivalent of like a nice 60 FPS lock at 540p upscale with low settings is not bad. Just do this again. It's not 60 FPS lock, but it's just shoving her in there. Experience the pain. Okay, let's try and like do this bit properly. Okay, can we win? Who's attacking me? Phew, I almost died there. God, stressful. I mean, the way that Control has released, Remedy have released this game on Mac is a huge mess. I mean, like, if you're a day one Mac gaming fan, right, you kind of been screwed by this because I tried to, I tried to buy this game and then I paid £35 for it. That's the pre-order price, right? And then, you know, the first thing you download, or these people in Asia downloaded, right, was the 1.0 version of this game. And then, you know, a few hours later, then they released the 1.31 version. And now what they've done, right, is that they've reduced the price down to $20, which is the price that makes proper sense, right? So, you know, it just basically got screwed for nothing. I think what I might do is ask for might email them and ask for a refund, maybe? I don't know. It seems weird that they would release the game. Mail room, eh? So how do I get the map open? Look at the map open with toggle map tab. And then get into there. How do I get into there? So I came in here earlier, and I've got to go all the way around, I think. Yeah, this is the MacBook Air 1. Here we are. Oh, I can fast travel now, so I'm gonna go back to Central Executive. It's not really missing anything from not being able to ray trace this game, which is interesting. Okay, so Control. I've looked at it in like 10 different ways now. It's working better on low-end models than better than I thought. I was a bit worried there because I was thinking like there were some parts of the game which wouldn't work properly, would perform worse. The performance is not identical through crossover at all. What's annoying about this is that it's kind of a mess, the release. Okay, I think what I might do is I think I'll do a quick test on my M3 Max, and then what I also want to do is test out a couple more games. So there's the new Atomfall game I want to try out, but yeah, I'll test this on here too. Okay, so I'll just update my save games here. So this is my save games. I'll put them here onto my control. Okay, we'll test this on my M3 Max, and then we'll take it from there. Then I want to test Atomfall, because that's like a big deal. I'm a bit annoyed about this because if I standing desk and walking pad, that's what I'm doing, man. If I load this, oh no, it's $30.99 here. Why is it expensive for me? Because it's not $39.99 in other places. It's like on the US App Store. It's oh no, it is. But I thought it was I thought I saw something about it being $19.99, which would make a lot more sense. Okay, switch over to M3 Max. Just rearranging my beautiful screens. Get this just right. Ah. What one must do for YouTube content? Okay, that's looking good. Okay, good. Back to streaming. Okay, good. So, I'll repower my devices again. Let's pair up my Bluetooth mouse again. And I tried Dead Space Remake. Yeah, that worked fine on your M4 MacBook Air through crossover game porting toolkit. Let's run this at a nicer resolution. Hmm. Let's do it 1440p. Okay, let's make sure this. Yeah, ray tracing is supported. If you've got an M3, M4 device, then you can ray trace on this game. Okay, let's get our save games. Games, save games. Oh, okay, let's go do this again. Containers, control, data, library, application support, NLPS, default Apple user, and then save our save games, reload the game. Should ray tracing be used, it will cut your performance by about 40% or something ridiculous like that. So just FYI, that's what it's going to be. Yeah, with an M1 you can't play with RT, so sorry about that. Okay, 1440p, let's do some... Let's do some upscaling. I turn this off. Let's put this on high. Actually, let's run this native. Native resolution, no metal FX. High graphics preset. Let's turn MSA off. Ray tracing on medium. And let's put MSA 4x. No, off. No, 4x, yeah. So native 1440p, quality preset high, MSA 4x, ray tracing medium. Let's try that. After this, I want to do a bit of Atomfall too, okay? I guess tomorrow we'll do some... Okay, so we want to do some inversion. Can't run it at this. I think ray tracing is the biggest culprit here. I mean, honestly, like, how do you tell the difference between... Let's have a light area here, right? Like, let's kind of get a spot with some reflections, like here, right? Some comparisons, okay? So We could put ray tracing medium. And then ray tracing off. Can't really see a difference. Okay. Then we'll try with a render of 960p because it's that. This preset is so we're on a high MSAA 4x ray tracing off, and then do we really want to be upscaling from that? Are we what? Upscaling from here is still pretty good. I mean, what if we just don't upscale at all? If we don't upscale, we're not quite hitting that 60 frames per second. But if we downscale a little bit, so this is the equivalent of. Oh, let me just look that up. So if we're at 1440p and we're going at 1152, 1440p to 1152, no equivalent here. 1440p. It's higher than quality. I mean, we could put 200 960. That would give us a better. 960 is the equivalent of quality. 960p is similar of quality preset. And we'll just okay, we'll just play a little bit. It's a shame they didn't use any kind of like quality setting, like a preset for FSR to be less confusing. I like presets because it allows us to easily compare different levels of performance for different games. Yeah, so here, for example, we have the lighting. So here we're getting 100 FPS, and if we turn on ray tracing to medium, it's ultra. Ultra puts us to 3. So the resolution and render resolution. So the resolution is the resolution of the screen and all the interface elements, and the render resolution is what it's really being rendered out and then upscaled up to your resolution so that you can actually run the game at a low resolution, but without all of the user interface looking really blocky. I think if I put this at medium, this might be playable. This is actually playable ray traced So this is ray tracing on medium
Emily said that
with
the
a little bit of
hotline
upscaling.
reached through the mail.
Is there frame generation? I'm afraid no. Do a bit of combat in this area. I thought I did this in the other game already. Latency feels really good. Especially on the lower end machines. Like, it's less compelling an option for high-end devices like this. The good news is that you don't have to buy this game again. They're going to release this on Steam. Although, why they haven't already released this on Steam is very confusing. I mean, like, why don't they just release this on Steam now? Okay. Okay, that's an interesting test. I'm done with testing Control now. So we've played Control for more than 3 hours now. And what I'd like to do now, personally, is do a little bit of Atomfall testing. So I don't know if you guys have heard of that Atomfall, but apparently it's working pretty well on Mac. So I want to give that a try and see if it works well on Mac. Let's close on my browser windows. So actually, you know what? I don't want to play it on here. I want to play it on my M4 MacBook Air because that's one of the games I want to test it on first. So let's just do that. So I'm returning this bad boy very soon, and I want to test out more games running on this before I return it, before it gets pushed back to the great computer in the sky. Yeah, Atomfall's been out for a while, actually. Good. Okay, let's do it. Some Atomfall. Yeah, so overall, I think, generally speaking, I found the port of Control to be pretty good. Not really worth buying on the Mac App Store, of course. Now that I know that, now that I know there's going to be like a Steam version coming out, then why don't we just play it through that? Atomfall looks really interesting. It looks like Fallout London, I guess you'd call it that, similar to that. Okay, so we've got Atomfall downloaded, I think. Yeah. Okay, let's try it out. Never played it. Let's have good reviews of it. So, you know, Rebellion, they recently released Sniper Elite 4 on the Mac. So it'd be really interesting to see how this performs, because they obviously know what the Mac is capable of. Control's not the kind of game I want to play on my phone. R1042. Unfortunately, I just don't want to play brand epic games on a Mac. I'd rather play it on a bigger screen. Okay, so I read on the Mac Gaming subreddit that this actually runs pretty well. Someone said it works amazing on the M4 Max. So let's see if that translates to the M4. How would I rate the control port for Mac? Well, now that I know it's coming out for Steam, so you don't have to, so you can buy it for $5 now from Fanatical or a key reseller, and people probably already own it. Then it's pretty good. I think it makes a lot more sense if you're using a low-end device. Like if you're using an M1, then it's great. For high-end machines, it's okay. Yeah. We're never going to get Warzone on the Mac. Sorry. Okay, the main menu is getting frame rates of some kind. %65 render scale.
Windscale, the pride of Britain.
The pride of
Nestled in
Britain.
a picturesque lake district, the state-of-the-art atom plant has transformed this rugged landscape into the envy of its northern neighbors. Scientific
You own
progress
Control on
waits for
Steam,
no one.
PS5, and Epic. That's a
Public
lot of
has
places.
nothing to fear.
Well, if you have it on
Everywhere will be
Steam,
different
then
by
it's
Christmas
apparently it's coming.
ability.
The Mac version's
Situation
coming to Steam,
involves
so no point buying it on App
was at
Store.
first understood.
No military expeditions into the area have been lost. Where did you get such an idea?
If Cyberpunk released at night, would you wake up and start streaming immediately? Yes, pretty much. I'm about to go on holiday for 2 weeks, so I'm going to take my MacBook Pro M3 Max, and then if it did come out at that time, I would stream it straight away.
Situation in Cumberland is well in hand.
And this kind of look like a graphically modded Fallout New Vegas or something. That's what the graphics remind me of. I grew up in a town with a not famous, like a coal power plant. And this one reminds me of countryside there. Oh, that's really good, 120 FPS. Maybe we can just set the render scale to 100. And then we're at medium.
I thought this place was secure. Where's Dr. Powell?
Holy moly, this is good. Wow, this runs really well on the MacBook Air. I mean, this translation layer is absolutely excellent. I mean, look at this. Well, I think I'll put this up to high. Let's see when we get to the open world.
trust myself. Please, Mr.
Some graphical issue there.
We're trapped in the quarantine zone around the Windscale atom plant. That's where it all went. The only way to Windscale is through the interchange. There are people. Oh, God. Oh, there should be. Hurry.
Okay. There was a minor graphical issue there. Can I even reproduce it? Okay, so graphic settings are. This is the M4 Mac Mini. I'm impressed so far. For a brand new game, AA quality game, graphics set to high, 1080p, render scale 100%. Asynchronous shader compilation. The game was inspired by Fallout New Vegas, which was described by Ben Fisher, associate head of design and Rebellion, as a dense experience and one that valued player choice. Okay, this looks, well, it certainly looks like it, like graphically and tonally so far, but you know, set in the UK.
Careless mistake. Was ambushed by one of those bloody thieves. Outlaws, they call themselves. Probably got the power too.
I think I'm only really going to be able to test the graphics once I get outside.
I think I was meant to break the quarantine. I wouldn't survive in there now.
Requires modified keycard. So I've got a keycard because I've just. How do I use the modified keycard? Because I'd be to. Didn't he just give me one? Metro Exodus vibes, yeah. But this is not. This is an RPG. It's not on a shooter.
Hurry. Please.
Okay, so how do I get this guide? Craft a bandage, right? I need more cloth. Need to really craft and figure out. Okay, so I've got enough cloth to
Please, a bandage. Please help me.
Okay.
Thank you. Delaying the inevitable, I'm afraid. But at least I can think more clearly now. Here's my key card. It will get you out of here and into the interchange.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what else happens. As long as the truth of this place gets out. Here are my notes. Everything I remember. It's not much, but it's all I can do. Now listen. There's still every chance.
This game is built on the Azure engine. What other games are using the Azure engine?
You shouldn't be here when it does. If I can ever repay you for helping me, I will. But for your own safety, you should go. Leave me. Go now.
I will go.
It's rare to find anyone who has the slightest spark of kindness in this place. It may help you to survive.
Did I get the I got the modified keycard. Okay, so I'll go outside.
Everything is okay.
Quarantine protocol is in effect. This door must remain sealed. Emergency access has been granted.
Read. Get a notebook. It's a frequent facility. Okay, frame rate's dropped a lot from that enclosed area, so let's tweak a bit. Let's tweak a little bit. Otherwise, they're not going to have enough. I think putting down the frame rate scale to like 65 makes a lot of sense for this. It's like the equivalent of quality graphics settings. Yeah, if you want to stream games from a PC to a Mac, then Moonlight is obviously a good option. Steam is pretty good. Depends on what graphics card you have, of course. Am I on medium or high? Yeah, medium graphics settings. Medium graphics settings, 65% render scale, 1080p. How's the remaster of this awesome PS4 game? I mean, Control's pretty good. Quite happy with it. There was a bit touch and go because there were areas within the game which runs better through crossover than through anything else, and through the native port, which was very interesting.
I'm not joking. Leave or you scab. You'll die here. You scuppered.
Okay. I don't really test out the HDR of I'm not really. I don't really understand what HDR is, to be honest. Okay, but we're in the proper outdoors now. This is Slatton Dale. Okay, we're in the outdoor area, so this is where it really, really kind of needs to render correctly at the right settings. So put it down more. This is not control. This if you want to see my control testing, just rewind the live stream about 3 hours, and I've done testing on all 3 machines: M1, M3 Max, M3 Ultra, M4 MacBook Air. So I tested a lot. I tested that a lot. Okay, that's a bit blurry for me. Let's try 65%. I haven't seen one of these telephone boxes for several years. Oberon must die. I think it looked better at I think it looked better at medium. Let me just put this on medium. Yeah, the textures look a lot better at medium. And then maybe change the render rate to scale to 50. Whew, that looks rough. There's no like FSR setting here. It's just a simple render scale. I think I would compromise by going low resolution rather than change the texture details. That resolution looks pretty rough too. I think I'd probably play at this 65% at medium. Yeah, better. There's ways to use the better display. There's other tools too, which basically hijack your HDR settings to like make everything more vibrant. So, okay, so recap, 65% render resolution and medium graphics preset. Atomfall is, I want it a bit higher frame rate, like a little bit. Maybe it will go to 50%. Looks rough though, without anti-aliasing, without the filtering. You don't think there's a need for 60 FPS? Okay. In that case, I'll put it 70 medium. Okay. That looks a lot better, but it would be nice to have some form of scaling. Okay. It's a pretty game this so far. This is British. Do you go up or down? Down looks more interesting. Is Counter-Strike 2 playable? Yes. You can play it on crossover. It's better than the way that the game Avowed looks. Now, Avowed is a game which looks pretty rough. In order to get playable frame rates on a Mac through crossover, it's pretty rough. Oh, I've got a shotgun. So yeah, this is 70% medium. Yeah. So this reminds me of New Vegas, like quite a lot. So I'll give this a go for like 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna have lunch and take a break. Maybe I'll cut together control videos at some point. It's a shooter in the same way New Vegas is a shooter, which is not very much. Good walk. Slattendale. Convoy. It's a cave here. It's like an Oblivion style cave. Oh, was that a booby trap? You know it's
Trespasser! Elf, I killed far worse than you.
was it? Oh my god, the reloading mechanics are slow. I don't have any other weapons. I don't have any weapons. I don't have any weapons. Okay, let's load the game. Let's not do this bit. So is native port of control slower than crossover DX11? It's the native port is still better than crossover is better in some areas when you're standing still, but most of the game, the native port is way better for like frame pacing and overall performance of the of the port. Can I do silent takedown? How do you silently take down someone? They just get booby trapped.
Just be calm. Hands away from weapons. Find you if you're out there. Stay alert. Stay alive. Don't be that. Nobody wants trouble. That's right. What have you done? You're gonna regret ever coming here.
I just punched that guy to death, right? Oh, great. I just wasted like one shell. Oh, this bolt action rifle is so slow. Can't shoot. Why can't I fire? Ouch. Yeah, this is Atomfall. Way better, like 20% better with no dips. It's basically control is better. Works better. Okay, let's try it. Let's not go that way. I'm not equipped well enough to do anything. And then I'm also not good enough to loot everyone yet.
Don't do anything stupid. Don't you go asking for trouble, or you'll get it. Swear I heard something. Well, nice and slow now. Let's have no trouble. There's something hiding out there. Now here, the gunner runner. Back off!
I want a cricket bat as a weapon. Let's do it. That's better. This does feel a bit like Avowed. And it runs a lot better than Avowed anyway. Avowed is too demanding. Avowed's more of an action game than this is. D3D Metal runs well because Apple can use Metal's API's undocumented features, yeah. Wild from the other side, how do we get in? Come on. Luckily, you can't even get in. Barred from the other side. If only Apple understood they should focus on all PS4 games. I don't really agree with that. I don't think Control or getting a native port is going to change anything. Whoop. Just press the one key. Can't seem to focus back into this. Okay, well, I think I've tested enough to know that it works. That's pretty good. Okay, guys, so I've tested out Control on M1, M3 Max, M4 Air, and the M3 Ultra. So I've basically tested everything, done a bit of Control benchmarking as well. Sorry, Atomfall benchmarking too. Chances are you are going to see me tomorrow because we're going to be playing some Wuthering Waves. So hopefully that's going to come out today, I think. It always comes out because we live in an international society. We'll just check Wuthering Waves. Yeah, Mac release is meant to be tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah, so we don't have any more of these native Mac ports left. We've got like Infinity Nikki, RoboCop, Cyberpunk 2077, of course, but it's all coming along. So if Wuthering Waves does release tomorrow, I'll be doing a live stream of that, just testing out the ports and stuff. I'm going to do a video on the control port situation as well, test out a bunch of settings. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this live stream. Thank you very much. Watch out for the video, which is probably gonna come out tomorrow once I finish editing it. Thanks for sticking by. I'm ending the live stream now, so thank you for joining me, and see you later. Bye bye. Bye bye. See you next time. Bye bye.